fastest lap of the session.
All right, let's take a look at that. So this is going to be the first lap, hot lap. I guess you could do a second lap, hot lap, but it's not really any better, and you'd have to take first lap really easy. So you see, I'm just running half throttle as I enter the out lap 3 and 4, running kind of just in the middle. The top isn't great because you got to turn the wheel a ton at the very end. So I want to like turn down the hill and then get as straight of an exit as possible. You probably heard me say that a couple times before at tracks like this. I got a little loose moment there, which isn't ideal, but it wasn't horrible. So I kept going. So to go into turn 1 here, I'm going to set up a really, really wide. So there's a couple things that you can see here is that I want to set up right by the wall and then set up not for an apex at the center of the corner. I want to set up for a late apex. I'm basically trying to make this turn as much of a straight as possible. So you see set up just on the top lane and then just slowly ease down the hill with half throttle. If you're not able to turn down the hill with half throttle, that means that you turn down too late. So you want to adjust that. If the car is just not turning down while you're also holding half throttle, like you'll see here, I had one moment where, and you know what, that brake doesn't really even matter. So I went down to 1/4 for a little bit just to get the initial turn. So as I start to turn in, so straight here, car straight, my first off throttle is to 25%, and then once the car starts turning down, back to 50%. That should be the amount of throttle that you're using to get the car to the bottom. If the car is not going to the bottom, don't change your throttle, change your wheel. We want to get that timing correct because any different throttle than that's just not going to be super fast. So full throttle, start turning down, go to 1/4 throttle, then half throttle once the car is fully moving down. Then we hold that half throttle, maybe even slowly raise it as we unload the wheel as we get to the bottom, and you see how late this apex is, and I'm able to straighten out the wheel, bring it back up the track for the last bit, and that is how we're going to keep as much momentum as possible. Okay, 3 and 4 here. Same idea, and you're going to have a little more room to work with in 3 and 4 as well. It's a little bit easier to do this. So half throttle. And you see, I faked myself out a little bit trying to go to full, but that was okay. Just trying to get to full as early as possible for the hot lap, late apexing, giving myself some room up into the wall. It's the same exact idea as 1 and 2. It's going to feel a little different, obviously, because the shapes are slightly different. But start on the top lane, bring it down to a 1/4 throttle. I used a tiny bit of brake for this one just because it was a little bit tighter of an entry. And then same idea of getting back to half and then like slowly raising it as we make that apex. And as we come off the corner, should be able to just full throttle and make that almost like a straightaway. Alrighty, now let's go take a look at long run. Alright, now let's talk about long run. There are 2 approaches that you can take with long run. One will save more tires but be a little bit slower. One will save less tires but be a little bit faster on the short run. So it really depends on what type of run that you're gearing up for that you'll want. So here's the first one. The first type of lap is going to be the big arc, just like we talked about with the qualifying. You just drive down the track the whole time. You don't apex until like the very end of the corner. And then you try to full throttle off. It's going to be a little bit sketchy on exit because you're trying to straighten out the exit. But yeah, just setting up way up high, maybe letting off a little early to help facilitate your turn down because it's a long run after all. You don't want to crush your tires too much. But now let's do a comparison with the bottom line. So the bottom line is going to be shallower entry, letting off, just rolling on partial throttle, just rolling the white line, just being patient, letting the car come up, not forcing a throttle too early. You see we lose about a 1/10 there. So we're going to lose about 2 to 3 tenths compared to the other line. You can see I can be a little bit more aggressive on 3 and 4 because this exit's wider. So the bottom of 3 and 4 actually might just straight up be better than arcing 3 and 4. But for 1 and 2, that big arc in 1 and 2 for sure is faster than just straight running the bottom. I would personally recommend to just run this bottom line and be patient. But if you're going to be losing a ton of track position, if you have some guys wanting to come past you, then the big arc line is a lot better at defending. for a couple reasons. One, you can drive through the corner how you want. You don't have to have anyone on your back pressuring you. And then also it's just a higher exit speed, which is better for defense. So my recommendation is going to be run this bottom line, partial throttle, just be patient on the bottom, a little bit more patient in 1 and 2 than 3 and 4. 3 and 4 you can kind of gun it. But if you're facing some pressure, 1 and 2, early entry, and you just set up really high, bring it down the track, and you see all this speed that we're picking up here. It's worth about at least a tenth. 3 and 4, I'll do it too this lap. You'll see it's not worth quite as much. Maybe half a tenth. But that used up a lot more tire than right at the bottom. So honestly, I don't think a tenth and a half is worth the amount of extra tire that runs over this. And you can even see here if I run a better corner here, it might get a little loose. But yeah, we can like almost match the time, like to the half a tenth. Like that's pretty darn good. So I recommend running the bottom. This line, if you're getting tight coming off the corner, that means you're not waiting long enough on your full throttle. You really want the corner to kind of complete itself. You don't want to fight the car to have to do it. And if you are fighting the car, that means you're not being patient enough getting back to full throttle. Okay, let's check tires. I think that felt a bit like a right front burner, but we'll see. Nope, it was a right rear burner, so that's good. We're burning a little more right rear on the bottom, but it does burn just all 4 tires running on the top too. So as the run progresses, you're going to want to find a line that keeps the right front cool, because I think that the right front will catch up to the right rear. All right, thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you all on the track.